We may be getting a crypto altcoin season. The charts are looking the same as they did at the end of the year in 2017, which led us to one of the largest crypto altcoin seasons. I'm going to go into the type of coins that I'll be looking to get if we bounce from here and why I think we're going to see a huge altcoin rally. For checking out the channel. Every day we put out a new video about cryptocurrency education, markets, giveaways, and more. Make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss out on any content. Now let's go to the moon. I'm going to start with a snippet from Willy Woo's newsletter. I highly recommend, if you haven't, sign up for this guy's newsletter. He's one of the best fundamental analysts in the market and his stuff's on point. So altcoin and ETH commentary. ETH USD supply shock is showing early levels of tentative reversal. If this completes, we could see ETH leading BTC out of current bearish slide. So the keyword is if there. That's why I said earlier, if the market bounces, these are some of the coins, some of the trends that I'll be looking at, and I'm going to go into that at the further into the video. So Bitcoin dominance under technical analysis is looking quite weak, with support levels being tested for a third time. Given BTC is trapped in a prolonged sideways zone, it presents a good opportunity for altcoins to rally. And that's what I think was going to happen. So let's touch on the same thing as I mentioned that happened in 2017. At the end of 2017, that led us to one of the largest crypto altcoin rallies, which honestly, I had some of the best trades of my life. So you can see here, this is November, we're moving into December. And what did you notice? The Bitcoin dominance is now, it just dropped crazy, it dumped. And we had a huge move in altcoins. I just remember altcoin season so vividly in 2000. It was the start of 2018. And that's when Bitcoin retraced. Bitcoin was soft. Bitcoin, was in a scary area back then. Honestly, I didn't really know what I was doing, so I was longing 17k, which wasn't a good call obviously, but things have changed and I was just buying a ton of altcoins. It exploded. But what we're seeing is something very similar, where we have Bitcoin dominance breaking down at the end of year, while Bitcoin and Ethereum have kind of pulled back. They've been in a very soft area. Everybody is very fearful. I'm thinking that we are now going to see Bitcoin continue to move down in this downtrend right here. We saw this huge move down, and then we saw, as Willie mentioned, a prolonged downtrend, like a prolonged pattern, which I think this is more of like a descending triangle, because you have, or it could be a bearish flag, however you want to paint it or call it, but you have, more importantly, lower highs right here, and then you have the support holding, which it just looks like it just broke here. But while price is hovering over support and keeps tapping it, it's not strong. It's not a strong price action. It just shows me that we are going to break this down and then move down to lower lows. And what does that mean? That means that market cap is being removed, dominance from Bitcoin to the whole market. Generally, it goes from Bitcoin to Ethereum and then to the rest of the market, to the larger sized market cap coins, then to mid-size, top 10, top 20, and then to the low cap, to the shit coins and things like that. So this is breaking down right now. Are we getting an altcoin season? What did we just see? What was it? ADA just did 40% today. One of the worst friggin' smart contract coins. So this is ETH BTC as well. And I think this is just as important to note with BTC dominance, because ETH BTC, while this runs, we see altcoins running. When ETH is leading in terms of the ETH BTC chart, we see altcoins generally performing better as well. And I'm seeing a clear uptrend here. We saw a clear, strong year, and I did a video on ETH yesterday where Ethereum outperformed Bitcoin in 2020, 2021, and honestly, it looks like it's going to do the same thing in 2023. 2020, I'm just so lost. 2022. So it did well in 2021, 2020, and now I think it's going to do, a third year for 2022. I just skipped a year, because we're in a lockdown, so we just need to skip this year. But anyways, so I think this broke out of this large consolidation here. We're getting a pullback. This might be the last kiss before we blast off back into all-time highs. And then if Ethereum is leading, we'll see the market cap, Bitcoin dominance shrinking and more altcoins just snapping. So what are the trends that I'm going to be playing if this happens? As I know, Bitcoin is in a soft area, and if Bitcoin does explode, will we see 100,000? Will we see 150,000? Let's say we see 200,000 at all-time highs. Everything, explodes. That's 300% move from, let's say we're at 50 grand. I think altcoins will outperform Bitcoin. And regardless, if we're moving in an uptrend, if you picked solid coins, like solid L1 coins, solid, gaming coins or NFT coins, whatever it may be, then you shouldn't have a problem if the whole market's moving up generally, because you're going to be making gains as well. It's just which coin's outperforming which. And if you're picking a solid altcoin, you can usually outperform Bitcoin. But what I love to do is take those profits and then stack my Bitcoin. Because let's say you have 1 Bitcoin, the goal would be 10 Bitcoins, then 100 Bitcoins, then 1,000 Bitcoins. And you just keep stacking them. So that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be trying to make some serious gains from these altcoins. These are some of the trends that I'll be playing. Smart contract platforms, L1, different layer 1 coins. I mean, Ethereum is pretty pricey. Can I see it at $10,000 still? Yes, I can. So that's still that 300%. I've seen 12,000, 15,000. I mean, there's a lot of other coins that have room to grow, and I'm going to go into some layer ones. You have the popular Avalanche, Polygon, Phantom. Phantom did 32% this week, so it's gained a lot back from what the market's taken. So let's look at a few that I think are interesting. So I've touched on Eagled a few times. You can see that this, first of all, is just like screaming a buy. And why? Because you can see that every time it comes back into the 50-day moving average, the 50-day move, the 50 weekly. Every time it comes back on the 50 moving average on the weekly, you can see that it's found the bottom, kind of consolidated, and then it bounced off. Like this was a huge buy. Let's throw the RSI on here. Not what I want to see, honestly, so it doesn't really matter. But you can see that it did the same thing here. And now we're coming back into the moving average. We're coming back into the prior all-time high right here. And it's just looking like it can bounce again. If it breaks under and starts trading, that's when we cut the trade. You can use a stop loss maybe like this low right here, or a couple percentages be lower than the trend line and the moving average. Usually you get wicked out with those tight stop losses, so you can ladder your buys or however you want. But let's just say that we come down here and we don't grind on the moving average, and we break down and then test. That's where you sell before we move on to lower lows, and then just completely ruin this uptrend right here that we're seeing. I mean, however you draw the line, it's not looking the greatest. That's probably how. Oh, I don't even have it connected. But I am using that moving average as an awesome buy area. And the last thing I wanted to note was that Elrond is, sorry about that, Elrond is 180% from its highs. Why do I like playing L1 layer 1 tokens? Because they have whole ecosystems that are being built out. NFT exchanges, DeFi protocols which you can loan, borrow, farm, yield, all this great stuff. I mean, Eagle just launched the Meyer Exchange and the Meyer Launchpad, and they're releasing a lot of new things that are coming out. So this could be a sweet spot for Elrond right here. Let's move on to the next one, which is Sol. Same type of setup. We're seeing a bounce on the daily instead of the weekly here, and I've been bullish on Sol for a little bit right now. I think Sol is one of the best gaming and NFT blockchains. It is still I don't want to say low market cap, but it is gaining. I think it was like 250 on the list. So it can still move to top 100, top 50. And if this gaming, metaverse trend really takes off, maybe Sol Phantasma Chain can really shine here. So seeing the same thing, same type of setup, we're seeing a huge pull back into some strong support here. You can see some support here, resistance, resistance, and it's lining up with the moving average. So we're just seeing some confluence to buy on this bounce, about 40. Let's see how much percentage actually from the top right here. Maybe it was a bit more, yeah, 42%. So not too bad. Those are two coins that I'm eyeing. And then the last one is KDA. KDA just snapped. Honestly, it exploded. I didn't get in. I missed the whole train. And now I'm thinking that this has kind of moved from its all-time highs a ton. I think it's about 200%. So let's see. About 240%. Wow. So a ton of gains if it moves back to its all-time highs. And we're hoping that once, if we move into this altcoin season and Bitcoin breaks all-time high, we see all-time highs being broken on not all altcoins, but majority of the strong altcoins that are here to stay. And that aren't just complete shit coins like a lot of these Inu coins. So 240%. I'm thinking that this is still in a downtrend. I'm looking for this to kind of hit into the moving average right here, so we can maybe get into these support levels, test these lows right here. These are kind of the two areas I'm looking at. If we break down this would be the buy area, holding this moving average. I mean, the RSI has came down so far. The prices came down so far. We've just been kind of bleeding out on KDA. There's a lot of other layer ones that I'd urge you guys to check out, like Terra Luna. I definitely have started stacking some. I mean, if we go into a bear market, I'll reposition, I'll look for a better position, and I'll start stacking some because I know their yield game is crazy, and I'm still learning about it, so we're gonna release videos about that coming soon. Some of the other trends I'd be playing, definitely the NFT market, not specifically NFT coins, but there is one I wanted to cover, and that's SuperFarm. So Elio Trades, I mean, he's done pretty well, honestly, especially with Neo Tokyo, and especially with the things I'm hearing with SuperFarm. So let me actually pull up SuperFarm on the chart. The things that I'm hearing is they are launching NFT marketplace to battle OpenSea, and we saw Luxrare drop an airdrop. It was a free airdrop to the community. I shared a video on that. I made about 2,900 looks, and it's at $4 right now. I sold half, more than half, and I'm holding the rest until they fix the Trezor issue. So that did extremely well, and I think in an NFT platform led by some serious dudes like Elio, with the backings of like SuperFarm and some other partnerships he has, it might just do extremely well. So this, actually, I'm going to put up the Super BTC chart because I'm trading this on Binance and the chart looks awesome. So you can see right here, I've charted it up already. This is looking like a sweet opportunity. So let me break this down on why I think this could be a good trade. And yeah, so we're on the 3-day. First of all, we saw some heavy resistance right here. We saw some heavy resistance right here. Let me delete that and get a straight line in there. So we saw resistance, and actually I can actually pull that back right here. We saw resistance, 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 and then we broke down right here. So we finally broke out of this, little box we were in, above the resistance we kept trying to nail. We broke above it, and then we actually came back down, and we are just kind of consolidating above it. So we turned this prior resistance now into support. There's a change of polarity there. And these are some of the best, not the best, but some of my favorite setups where you're seeing like a long price rejection where it was rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected. And then it breaks out. You missed that initial pump. I missed this pump. I was actually trying to get into this. I missed it. And then I don't FOMO, don't chase, wait for the retrace. And now it's grinding on this 3-day moving average. It's grinding on this heavy resistance, which it couldn't break out previously. So I'm thinking maybe it can continue from here. So if I just take my fibs and I take it right there, I can see that this is probably my favorite place to buy right here, the 2100 Satoshi area. So if I put my line right there, I can start throwing some orders there. 2100, 20, not 2100 because it's a round number, so 2105, 2115, maybe even 5 or 10 lower than 2100 just if it wicks, because you see these wicks, sometimes it goes above resistance or below support, but it doesn't hold there. So, but it's enough for me to get wicked in. I get in, and then I like the price target. Usually 61.8 hits for me, honestly. This would be my immediate right here. And you can see how they line up so well with the resistances. So even that play right here, honestly, would be pretty decent. So if I got it like right here, and I sold it right here, that's over 100% move. And that's in Bitcoin. So if I put 1 Bitcoin, I'm pulling out 1 Bitcoin, just over 1 Bitcoin profit. And you can't go wrong doing that. So I think that if they launch their NFT platform and it's actually spectacular, and if it's, better than OpenSea, or just as good as OpenSea, but has some sort of community support or support chat that people can actually, speak to somebody and not get scammed, because there's a lot of scams happening on OpenSea and there's not a lot of efforts to stop it, in my opinion. So this could do very well. Super BTC is sitting on top of a huge prior resistance, now turned support, and if it breaks down under, then I would cut the trade. If it breaks down under and starts getting choppy down here and can get back over, I would cut the trade. Or I'd put a stop loss and I'd cut the trade depending on what I'm comfortable losing. Some of the other trend coins that I'm looking at, GameFi, you can't ignore that. Axie and Sandbox, it's like Bitcoin and Ethereum of the crypto market, you know what I mean? And then we can go into some specific GameFi coins. I am more into the IDOs, so I'm investing early stage, and I am doing that, and it's been very successful, honestly. So another trend that I'll be watching hard is the metaverse trend, and you can't ignore that. You've even seen Facebook change their name to Meta, and all of this is not going away anytime soon, in my opinion. We might have the lows and the highs and the lows, and it'll shake a lot of people out. But I do not think that this is just going to poof, vanish, and metaverse is just done. We're really moving forward with this in the VR, metaverse, GameFi world. And I really think it's revolutionizing the gaming industry. Some of the games we're getting right now are very shitty. So when we actually get some decent, solid games, and then there's a play to earn factor where people can earn coins or NFTs or whatever it may be, I think that, there's no looking back. It's just going to be mind-blowing what's going to happen. So for metaverse tokens, I'm investing in IDOs, and to be honest, I'm doing it through Dex Tools, and now I'm doing it through Neo Tokyo, which honestly I'm not sure Bytes is here yet. So Bytes from Neo Tokyo isn't here yet, but I just wanted to share some of the trends that I'm doing. So L1, gaming, and NFTs. And I want to touch back on the L1s. And I made a lot of videos on where to find these types of tokens. But when you find a blockchain, so for example, you know what? We'll go back to Elrond. So when you find a blockchain like Elrond and they launch an exchange like Meyer, they are going to start building out the ecosystem. We saw, what was it called, Avalanche Rush, where there was so many protocols rushing to Avalanche to incentivize users to bridge, to loan, farm, and they had so many crazy rewards. It drove a ton of users there. So something like Meyer or even Pulse Chain, which hasn't came out, when it comes out, there's going to be hundreds of new tokens that are launching there that will probably have first mover advantage, and you can make some serious gains. So Pulse Chain, as I just mentioned, Meyer, or some of these other blockchains that are building out. You want to dive right into their ecosystems and then look for awesome coins that help out that specific ecosystem, build it out, or just complements it in any way, or even if it's just the first meme coin, you're just playing that ecosystem and all the gains it has to offer. So I think we are going to move into altcoin bull market. That doesn't mean that Bitcoin can't move up as well. I think that Bitcoin, if we go to it, is trying to find its bottom right here. It's struggling, as we've seen as our major pullback right here. It took us a few weeks, 9 actually in total, so we may still have some room to kind of chop around, consolidate for coins to change hands, and then it kind of move up. So if we touch back on Bitcoin dominance to end, I think that we will see a crypto alt season like this. The dominance come down, maybe test. We come down to make lower lows. I think we actually make lower lows in dominance. And then after all the altcoin shenanigans is over, people just, mooned, lamboed, billionaires, whatever, Bitcoin trend will come back up. Altcoins, we'll see a lot of those ones disappear that Shibu Inu, mother, grandmother of Shibu, whatever those coins. I mean, there's tons of them. I'm guilty of trading some of them, but none of them will replace Bitcoin, Ethereum, Google, Facebook. Like they're gonna be gone. So when Bitcoin does this type of move, that's when I'll be majority in Bitcoin, so I don't, lose Bitcoin value. Pretty much simple as that. So I hope you guys got some value from this. I had a crazy day, crazy blizzard today. 2 cars stuck. My wife lost the keys for 1 car. Tried to shovel to find the keys. 6 hours later, couldn't find them. So now doing this video at like 9 p.m. But I hope you guys got value, as I mentioned. Make sure to hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.